A neuron, also known as a nerve cell, is the fundamental unit of the nervous system. These specialized cells are responsible for transmitting information throughout the body, allowing organisms to respond to stimuli, think, feel, and control their movements. Neurons are essential for all neurological functions and play a critical role in how the brain and body communicate with each other. Neurons have a unique structure that allows them to efficiently transmit signals. They consist of three main parts: the cell body, soma, dendrites, and the axon. The cell body contains the nucleus and other organelles that maintain the cell's health. It is responsible for generating energy for the neuron and ensuring it functions properly. Dendrites are tree-like extensions that branch out from the cell body. Dendrites receive signals from other neurons and transmit these signals to the cell body. The more dendrites a neuron has, the more signals it can receive. The axon is a long, thin extension that carries electrical impulses away from the cell body to other neurons, muscles, or glands. Some axons are covered with a fatty substance called myelin, which helps speed up the transmission of impulses. At the end of the axon are structures called axon terminals or synaptic terminals, which are responsible for releasing neurotransmitters, chemical messengers that allow neurons to communicate with each other. There are three primary types of neurons, each serving a specific function within the nervous system. Sensory neurons transmit information from sensory receptors, such as those in the skin, eyes, and ears, to the brain and spinal cord. They are responsible for detecting external stimuli, such as light, sound, and touch. Motor neurons send signals from the brain and spinal cord to muscles and glands, enabling movement and other bodily functions. Found within the brain and spinal cord, interneurons connect sensory and motor neurons and are involved in complex processes such as decision-making, learning, and reflexes. Neurons communicate through a process called synaptic transmission. When a neuron is activated, an electrical signal, known as an action potential, travels down the axon to the synaptic terminals. Once the signal reaches the terminal, it triggers the release of neurotransmitters into the synapse, a small gap between two neurons. The neurotransmitters then bind to specific receptors on the dendrites of the receiving neuron, allowing the signal to continue its journey. Depending on the type of neurotransmitter released, the signal may either excite the receiving neuron, prompting it to fire an action potential of its own, or inhibit it, preventing it from firing. Many axons are covered in myelin, a fatty substance produced by special cells called Schwann cells in the peripheral nervous system, or oligodendrocytes in the central nervous system. Myelin acts as an insulating layer, allowing electrical impulses to travel more quickly along the axon. The myelin sheath is not continuous. It is interrupted by small gaps known as nodes of Ranvier. These gaps help increase the speed of transmission by allowing the electrical signal to jump from one node to the next, in a process called saltatory conduction. Myelin is crucial for efficient neural communication, and damage to myelin can lead to disorders such as multiple sclerosis, where signal transmission is impaired. Neurons are the key players in the nervous system, which is divided into two main parts: the central nervous system, CNS, and the peripheral nervous system, PNS. The CNS, consisting of the brain and spinal cord, is the control center for the body, processing information and coordinating responses. The PNS is made up of nerves that extend throughout the body, carrying signals to and from the CNS. It includes the somatic nervous system, which controls voluntary movements, and the autonomic nervous system, which regulates involuntary functions like heart rate and digestion. Together, neurons in the CNS and PNS allow the body to perceive the environment, make decisions, and respond accordingly. The health of neurons is vital for proper brain and body function. When neurons are damaged or die, it can lead to various neurological disorders. For example, in Alzheimer's disease, neurons in certain parts of the brain degenerate, leading to memory loss and cognitive decline. In Parkinson's disease, the neurons that produce dopamine, a neurotransmitter essential for movement control, are affected, resulting in motor issues like tremors and stiffness. Research into how neurons function and what causes their degeneration is critical for developing treatments for these and other neurological conditions. Neurons are the basic units of the nervous system, enabling communication between the brain and the rest of the body. Their unique structure allows them to receive, process, and transmit signals rapidly, ensuring that organisms can respond to stimuli and perform necessary functions. Understanding how neurons work not only provides insight into basic biological processes, but also helps scientists find treatments for neurological disorders that affect millions of people worldwide.